The Dragon Ball franchise spent nearly 20 years in dormancy, but when Dragon Ball Super hit, everything changed. Suddenly, we got a huge new wave of merchandise from the company named Bandai, and they made a ton of figures for the old characters and the new characters, some of which I even talked about in this Dragon Stars retrospective you can check out. But as I was saying, one of these toy lines is called Dragon Ball Evolve, and I know nothing about this toy line, sorta. So I want to take a look at it, as it's very interesting. First off, the name is very similar to the live-action film Dragon Ball Evolution, but thankfully it is not related because, let's be honest, no one wants to talk about Dragon Ball Evolution right now. So instead, we are going to look at the figures that the line started. It started in 2019, around the time that the Dragon Ball Super Broly film took off, and its first wave is even based off that. So sit back, relax, and let's see what this line is about. So as I stated, Wave 1 is based on the Dragon Ball Super Broly film. As for the packaging, the figures come in old blister card style packaging, and that is intentional as these figures are 5-inch scale, as you can see them compared to SH Figuarts there. That means that they are the exact same height as the older figures from Irwin, Bandai from the 90s, and even Jakks Pacific. As for articulation, these figures have a ton, and I mean a ton of articulation despite their small size. They actually are far superior to what Dragon Stars usually offers, which is kind of sad, but Dragon Stars does also have double jointed elbows and knees, which these do not have, but still, for how much these are, which was $12.99 USD, you're getting a lot of good articulation for that price, almost on par with what Figuarts can offer, allowing you to get some amazing poses with them. Should also mention that there is no alternate hands, and that is a problem for the Goku as he comes with Ki Blast hands, so they're stuck like that. Thankfully, the Vegeta figure does not have this, and nor does the Broly, but the Broly figure does have a different problem, and that has to do with scaling, as he is made the exact same 5-inch scale as the others, making him very small. Thankfully though, if you own the Shoto line, which are 3.75 inches, they scale pretty well with Broly. But still, this is a pretty decent first wave overall. It was also available in the 3-pack that you could get in some territories, but with that all being said, let's move on to Wave 2. Wave 2 is clearly based on the Tournament of Power saga, as we got Golden Frieza, Ultra Instinct Goku, and Jiren, and unlike the first wave, it's actually scaled properly, as Golden Frieza is smaller. However, he does have an issue with his arm, and that's that he has no bicep swivel, making the poses a bit limited, but it's not so bad. The Ultra Instinct Goku is pretty similar to the Goku from the first wave, except now he actually has fists, and it's a new body. It still looks great. As for Jiren, he's actually my favorite, as he never got a Dragon Stars figure in this outfit. So I actually did buy him, and I actually really like him. I think he looks really nice, and it's cool to see characters like him and Golden Frieza in the 5-inch scale for people who collect the lines of old. So yeah, I really like this wave better than the first, and it even got a 3-pack as well. So let's hope they continue this quality with Wave 3. Wave 3 has less of a theme than the first two, just kind of being characters from Dragon Ball Super, that being Trunks, Gogeta, and Ultra Instinct Sign Goku. Sign Goku is identical to Ultra Instinct Goku, except they did swap the hands out for the open hands. Speaking of open hands though, Gogeta also has them. He looks pretty good though overall. But yeah, poses are a little limited by the nature of the non-swappable hands. And Trunks actually has an accessory, that being his sword, which sadly means he's limited to sword poses as he only has holding hands. But hey, it still looks great, and yeah, this wave is still really awesome. I highly recommend it, and sadly there is no 3-pack this time, so let's move on to Wave 4. Wave 4 is another kind of random assortment, as we got a Super Saiyan Awakening Goku from Dragon Ball Z, Super Saiyan Blue Vegetto from the Goku Black arc, and a Beerus from Dragon Ball Super. Starting with the Super Saiyan Awakening Goku, this is a pretty good figure, and it's our first character from Z that wasn't in Super, as this look only appears in Z. It's not a reuse of the Ultra Instinct body either, which is great, and it still has all the good positives as the previous bodies. Same thing can be said for Vegetto, not really much else to say on him, though I do really like the hair shine with him. Beerus is the most interesting, as he is a completely different type of mold, being a lot more slender than the other characters. That sadly does also mean he has no bicep swivel like with the Golden Frieza, which does kind of suck. But you can still make him look nice, and more importantly, it's a Beerus in the 5-inch scale, which is awesome for people who collect this scale. So yeah, I highly recommend this wave like the others. Wave 5 was based on Dragon Ball Super Superhero, and strangely all the figures are exclusive to a place. The figures include a Piccolo, Gohan, and Super Saiyan Gohan. Piccolo, despite his box not saying it, is actually exclusive to Amazon. The Gohan is exclusive to Target, while the Super Saiyan Gohan is exclusive to Walmart. Now, Piccolo looks really great and has amazing articulation as to be expected by this point in the line, but sadly he is very short compared to the Gohans, making him actually out of scale just like the Broly was. As for the Gohan molds, they are both look really nice and have amazing articulation. There's really not much else to say on them. Super Saiyan Gohan is a repaint, so I can't say anything different than standard Gohan. Overall, this is a really good wave still because they look great and they have good articulation. I keep repeating myself because there's not much to really say on them, though the exclusiveness is interesting and will continue to be a thing that I'll mention in this line. However, before we get to that, Wave 6 includes 2 Gokus and a Vegeta. Now, these all reuse bodies from the first wave, but the Goku and the Vegeta have much better paint on them compared to the first wave, actually painting the shoes this time, and even the symbols on Goku's body, which is awesome. But beyond that, they still have the amazing articulation that they had the first time around. Super Saiyan 3 Goku is a bit more unique as he has a new head sculpt with the long hair, but also the belt was changed, which is a nice detail they added. Hair might be a bit heavy, so do be careful while posing. But yeah, Wave 6 is a great wave too, just like all the others before it. And sadly, that's it for traditional waves. Now we just have exclusives and one other figure to look at that was on its own. That one figure is Goku Black Super Saiyan Rose, who does look pretty nice like all the other ones, though this time his face does look a little off to me, but it's still not the worst I've seen. And like every other figure in this line, he poses like an import figure. So yeah, definitely grab him if you collect this line. And it's nice to see another Dragon Ball Super character in the 5-inch scale because those old lines were all 5 inches, so getting the newer characters in that scale is great for the collectors of that line. The first of the exclusives is Super Saiyan Vegeta from the Broly movie. It's an exact reuse of the Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta from the Broly movie, but now with the yellow hair. It's good to get Super Saiyan Vegeta in the line, but you can skip this if you're not exactly interested in the line. Target then did the exact same thing with Super Saiyan Goku, just taking the Super Saiyan Blue Goku figure from the Broly movie and painting the hair yellow. This is even less unique than Vegeta, as there's already a Super Saiyan Goku in this line. The more interesting exclusives, though, are Super Saiyan God Vegeta and Goku. Now, Vegeta was exclusive to Target, while the Goku was exclusive to Walmart. But this is interesting because Dragon Source has not made either of these forms, so I definitely recommend these two, as they use the Wave 6 bodies and actually have the full paint on them. And literally just found while I was making this is a Super Saiyan Vegeta exclusive to Walmart. It's just a repaint of the blue Vegeta, but it's nice to see that this line is still going on. And that is currently all that we have relating to Dragon Ball Evolve. So overall, this is a very good toy line, but unfortunately I do have some issues. First off is the lack of Dragon Ball Super characters. There's not that many in this line, which I think would have been its best selling feature, as this is a 5-inch scale Dragon Ball line, which was meant to be the same scale as the old Irwin, Jax, and early Bandai figures. But sadly, they mostly stuck to making Goku variants, which is sadly common with Dragon Ball toy lines lately. But beyond that, I also don't like the non-interchangeable hands, as some figures, including strictly open hands, leads to lack of posing options. But still, this line is still really great, and I'm really happy with the ones that I do own from it. And I hope it continues, because it is the only way to get 5-inch scale Dragon Ball figures in the modern day. So with that all being said, thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video. If you liked the video, please give it a like. Please subscribe if you want to see more Dragon Ball content, and I'll see you all next time.